Hello, it's Twirlink95, and we're back with more Mario Maker. In this episode, we'll be making an airship level. Now, the basic idea that I had for the level before I started making it was that I was just going to have a big airship where the entire level went upon. It wasn't going to be anything fancy. But I wanted to have a way that the level started, similar to like how all the airships start in Super Mario Bros. 3 with you jumping on the anchor. So it's just going to have this moving platform that lead you on top of the airship, and then the level will go on from there. But the second I started placing all these platforms, all these tracks for the platform to take, I realized like, yeah, I could totally make an entire level based around this idea. So I did. It also got me around a small pet peeve I have with the airship levels in Super Mario Bros. 3, which is the fact that even though it's a battleship, all the cannons is facing against itself. So, not a very effective battleship. So I could have like the excuse there, like, oh, it's when you go under the battleship, you go past all the cannons shooting downwards. It's just a little small thing I like to do. And also because I decided to make sure that the entire level was on the moving platform, I could have it so that you had to jump between that moving platform and then the airships, constantly allowing you to change up the level. So there are a lot of times where I got to change up how the events in the level, so I could have it so you could be on the airship, so I could have like what I'm trying to set up now, so that you have a track with cannons just approaching you. Right here, it's gonna be like 15 seconds of me experimenting with like what I can and can't put on the moving railroad tracks. And that's one thing that you really should do when trying to make your Mario Maker levels. If you have an idea that you're wondering like, hey, does that work? Just experiment. You might just come up with something wholly original. Because what I was trying to do was like, hey, what if I could have a set object and place it on, and then place the cannons on there, so I could have multiple cannons along the same thing. Now right here, I encountered a problem with the moving platform, where basically the platform moved faster than the screen was scrolling. I set up the screen to scroll so that I always had full control of where the of when the cannon shot, because all the cannons shoot based on a timer after they come on screen. So it allowed me to have a lot of control on the level. That's something you guys should remember when you want to make your own levels. If you want things to work at a very perfect sequence, one of the easiest ways to do that is to make sure that the level is auto-scrolling. Because player behavior, very different player behavior, can have all the cannons and all that, or whatever you have set up in the level that you want to sync. It can very easily throw it off sync. So right here, I decided, like, yeah, let's just have a big airship, because after this point I've had all the small ones. What fun challenges can I have if I make a big one? And then I realized, wait, that would be kind of bland or dumb if I just made a longer section without the moving platforms. I just shortened it. Just so you could, you know, have a longer section of just a big airship. Now, one thing I tried to toy around with was to have a bunch of like different airship sizes. I don't know, I just kind of liked drawing them. It's one of the fun things with the airship theme in general. It's that you can just like draw shapes and just see how the editor adds the different tiles to them to make them kind of look like a ship, like add the curves and the... God, I don't know what the ship terminology is. I'm not a sailor. Like the sharp thing at the end that looks like you're supposed to be able to ram people with them. And this counter has gone into just gibberish. Anyways, right here is actually one of the only times I even take the whole idea of like, hey, let's just jump on a ship and then jump off of it to another platform to progress through the level in any kind of way with those smaller ships. Since this is an auto-scrolling level, and since this is an auto-scrolling levels, you always need to test the level from the very beginning if you're going to test it, because certain stage elements have global timers, such as these what are they called? Fire throws, like fire engines, what I added to the ships to make it look like they're actually flying. Yeah, a lot of global timers are going to be a lot different compared to when you start in the middle of the stage and when you start at the compared to the beginning. So every time you test something to see, hey, does this work, you're going to have to do the painstaking job of going back to the very beginning. But before I cut out, I decided to just do some smaller alterations with like the placement of power-ups. So right here you see some of the basic ideas I just had at the very beginning to just kind of place the cannons. It's just a simple way of like introducing the player to how the level's basically gonna work. I really don't have much to say here. Right here I start with the first section of like, hey, let's just you have jump on one ship and then off to the another. One fun thing I like that you can do here is that you can go on the platform and be shot by the cannons, or you can just be like, yeah, why should I bother? Just jump on this ship, but you don't really get the coins. Now, this stage has a straight out flaw to it, and as this section right here. If you're on the left side of the platform, while you duck down there, you will just get squashed through the moving platform when it gets moved upwards. It's something I didn't really think about, and I didn't actually see or didn't even know was possible until my sister played the level a few weeks after I even made it. I was like, oh, why didn't anyone tell me about that? So here's my basic idea for like, hey, I have a big ship. What should I do with it? I just have some big space and just have a cannon shoot at you. Yeah. As you can hear me, just making fun of my own level. This is not one of my favorites. Again, similar to the previous level that we made, the Fat Town Brothers Crystal Cave. But I like that level more than this one. But it seems that people disagree and like this one more than the previous level. I don't know. As a creator, you're always going to have different feelings towards the level than most of the players, simply because you know the story behind the creation of it. Yeah, that was my basic idea for an airship level. Airship level, where I started with one basic idea and just ended up doing something completely different. As always, the level description will be, the level ID will be in the description, and next time, I don't remember which level I made, just you slur all the lines, why don't you?